What if everything you've been taught about your place in this world was a story? A story written not to set you free, but to keep you quietly coloring between lines someone else drew. Have you ever wondered why, in a universe so infinite, our focus narrows to just survival, routine, and fleeting rewards? Pause for a moment. Let's question what seems so normal. Why are so many of us restless, yet unable to explain what's truly missing? It's not just you. Throughout history, spiritual teachers, philosophers, and shamans from every corner of Earth have warned that our inner lives are fenced in by something subtle yet persistent. Call it a mental fog, a sleep of the soul, a carefully constructed illusion. The challenge is not only out there, in governments or institutions, but also in how we see ourselves and each other. Every culture holds myths explaining why we feel divided, suspicious, sometimes even lost. Maybe it's not a coincidence that these tales echo the same patterns. Powerful beings or systems sowing confusion and conflict so we don't notice our natural unity. Consider for a moment the Zulu shaman Credo Mutwa. He spoke of the Chitari, strange visitors from the sky, who, as legend has it, changed the very fabric of humanity. They didn't enslave us with chains, but by splitting us from within, dividing energies, creating artificial lack, introducing a language that muddled our direct understanding. It almost sounds like the birth of misunderstanding itself, doesn't it? Suddenly, the world needed interpreters, priests, kings, passwords, masks. A very old story, and yet so familiar. This isn't peculiar to Africa. Think of the masked gods of Greece, the serpent-worshipping cultures of Mesoamerica, the demiurges of Gnosticism who keep souls trapped, or even the story of the Tower of Babel. Strip away labels and you see a repeating theme. Something from beyond, or from hidden corners of our own psyche, convinces us to forget who we are and why we are here. Why then do so many feel like cogs in a machine, tuning out our own intuition in favor of prescribed meaning? Somewhere along the line, we began marching to rhythms not of our making, measuring worth by comparison, achievement, and approval. Modern science now backs up the power of environment and groupthink. In the famous Asch conformity experiments, most participants preferred to give a wrong answer rather than stand alone, a testament to how deeply we're conditioned to doubt ourselves and go along with consensus, even against our own perception. But what if this consensus reality is only a thin layer? What if the real problem isn't some cosmic villain, but the belief that change is impossible, that we're forever stuck in these roles? That's the greatest trick of all, to separate us not only from others, but from the voice inside that remembers the child peering at the stars. Certain life was more magical than we were told. So, what can we do? How do we begin to see through the thick fog of expectation and rediscover that wholeness every tradition hints at? Start right where you are. Close your eyes and take 3 slow, deliberate breaths. Listen, not for some booming revelation, but for the quiet shifting of your own attention. Notice how, as you pull awareness away from the noise, you can feel a bit of the old confusion lift. You're tasting what it's like to step out of the mind prison, even if just for a moment. Try this daily. Whenever you sense stress or division, stop and bring gentle presence to your body. Inhale deeply, noticing each sensation. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" ask, "Who is the me thinking this thought?" Watch how your inner world softens. Curiosity opens new space. Control and confusion shrink. All great journeys begin not with outward marches, but with the simple act of turning inward and questioning. You are the scientist, the seeker, and the experiment all at once. The mirror is yours. The veils are thin. Remember, you were never meant to walk this path alone. Every question you have sends ripples into the shared field of human awareness. As you start clearing your inner fog, you may find others are waking too, each one holding a spark of truth you quietly recognized in yourself. So, Before you go, ask yourself, where in my life do I feel divided, and what is persuading me to accept it? Let this question guide you until next time. The path to unity begins with seeing the split and then gently choosing wholeness. There is real power in that first step. The invisible chains and the invitation to remember. Have you ever caught yourself scrolling endlessly, feeling both connected and curiously empty? As if something essential is missing just beyond the edge of your awareness. Let's not dismiss that sensation as mere distraction. In fact, it may be the most honest signal your consciousness can send in a noisy world. Why do we get so easily tangled in cycles of overthinking, comparison, and self-doubt? Maybe it's because the most pervasive prisons don't have bars. They are built from invisible stories, handed down through culture and cemented by repetition. The real struggle is rarely out there in the open. It's the inner contract we sign every time we say, "This is just how things are. Who am I to question it?" Think about how modern media, the relentless news cycle, social networks, even so-called inspirational content, can pull us into polarized halves, us versus them, good versus bad, always lacking, always needing more. Each headline, each comparison subtly whispers, "Stay afraid, stay distracted, divide yourself." This isn't a cry to abandon society or retreat to the hills. It's a gentle call to notice the patterns working within us as much as around us. Cognitive scientists have found that people spend about 47% of their waking hours lost in thought, usually fretting over the past or anticipating the future. No wonder so many feel disconnected. Our own attention, hijacked by constant demands, becomes a currency spent on fears, regrets, and abstract worries. And yet, if our attention can be scattered, can it also be reclaimed? The answer is quietly radical. Consider Viktor Frankl's insight. Everything can be taken from a man but the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. External situations may twist and turn, but we can choose, moment by moment, where we direct our focus and what story we believe. Ask yourself, when did you last tune into your body, fully, without agenda? What if your breath could be an anchor amidst the chaos, your heartbeat a reminder of presence that no algorithm can touch? Notice how, as you read these words, some part of you becomes more aware. Awareness is not passive. Each time you notice it, you weaken the hold of old scripts. If the so-called controllers of myth and legend sought to divide and anesthetize by splitting our attention and trapping us in loops of shame, craving, and judgment, then the simple act of mindful awareness is subversive. Every conscious breath is a quiet revolution. You begin to remember that you are not just a collection of habits and reactions, but an intact field of perception, free to respond, create, and change. What can you do? Start with a single practice. Today, once or twice. Turn off your devices and sit in silence. Let thoughts scramble at first. That's normal. Then, paying attention to each sensation, ambient sounds, the feeling of the chair, the rhythm of your breath. Notice how, layer by layer, the invisible chains of distraction loosen. Give thanks not just for comfort or success, but for the rare chance to witness yourself in pure presence. When frustration arises, and it will, treat it as a sign that an old program is running. Instead of fighting it, invite curiosity. Who would I be if I didn't believe this old narrative? What feeling is hiding here, waiting to be felt and released? In this openness, your mind becomes both sanctuary and laboratory, a place to heal and explore rather than to hide or escape. One last thought for today. Spiritual traditions from Taoism to Jungian psychology teach that what we avoid or suppress doesn't disappear. It grows in the shadows. So as you practice presence, dare to gently face your discomfort. See if, behind the surface pain, there's an ancient longing for connection, purpose, or freedom. Often, it is the pain itself that points to the place where we are most ready to wake up.
Reclaim your right to slow down, breathe, and notice. This is not a luxury reserved for monks or sages. It is your original state, a homecoming you can choose at any moment, no matter the circumstances.
So here is your question for reflection. What truth about myself or my world am I most afraid to confront? And how might lovingly facing it set me free? No chain is infinite when light is brought to it. The invitation stands, remember. Reconnect. Let each breath remind you, you are whole, even now.
The return to wholeness. Let's begin with a quiet but remarkable truth. The power that shapes our lives is always nearer than we think. Sometimes the real quest isn't to find more wisdom, but to reclaim what was always quietly waiting within us. The natural clarity that shines when we stop chasing, striving, and dividing ourselves. How would your experience change if, just for a moment, you allowed yourself to feel complete exactly as you are? The ancient sages, mystics, and visionaries have always whispered of a deeper possibility, that the world's outward divisions mirror a wound within, and that healing is both an act of individual courage and a ripple through the whole of humanity. This isn't a grandiose promise. It's a lived process marked by small daily recognitions, choosing connection over competition, curiosity over judgment, unity over perpetual conflict. Science itself is beginning to reframe the old mechanical worldview. Quantum physics has shown that at the smallest scales, separation is an illusion. Everything is connected, participating in a great field of relationship. What you hold in your thoughts and feelings is not isolated from life, but subtly woven through it. The ancient law of vibration, echoed across spiritual teachings, becomes a practical key. What you focus on, nurture, and embody shifts your world, both inner and outer. So how do we integrate these realizations into daily action, avoiding the trap of seeking salvation solely in the abstract or mystical? Start by honoring your senses as teachers. Each taste, sound, and sighing breath is an invitation to presence. When your mind runs to regret or fear, pause and gently redirect your attention, like steering a wandering child, toward the sensation in your feet or the movement of your hands. This is not about escaping reality, but fully meeting it. Invite ritual into your life, not as rigid dogma, but as conscious intention. Light a candle as you wake. Offer gratitude for the simplest things, the air, the floor beneath you, the very body that brings you through this day. Share your authentic self with others. One honest conversation can do more for awakening than years of silent learning. When you listen, really listen, resist the urge to correct or compare. Notice if you can sense each person as both mysterious and familiar, like different expressions of the same starlight. If you feel drawn to meditation, movement, or time in nature, trust that pull. The world itself is a living scripture. Standing beneath a tree, wind moving through its branches, feel how your energy settles. There, away from the relentless noise, the busy stories fall away, and the undercurrent of peace grows audible. The insight is both humbling and liberating. Nothing essential is missing, nor has it ever been. Yet, true wholeness is not a static perfection. It's the willingness to be with yourself through every season, grief and laughter, doubt and overflow. When you slip into old patterns of division, gently return. When shame or sadness surface, greet them like old friends returning with news. Paradoxically, it is in accepting our full humanity that we touch the edge of the divine. This is the deeper meaning behind ancient wisdom and modern mindfulness alike, to know that life can be trusted. Patterns of control and suppression, whether external or internal, lose their grip as you recognize your freedom to choose presence, kindness, and courage even in difficulty. You will meet others walking this same mysterious road. Sometimes it is your smile or stillness that reminds them they too are not alone and not powerless. Let's close by anchoring this in the present.
Take 3 long breaths, feeling that each inhale connects you with the living world, and each exhale carries away stale patterns. Set an intention, small, gentle, but real, to remain awake to your wholeness today. Notice beauty. Give thanks for small moments. Welcome the full range of your experience without running or closing down. If you are searching for signs that things can change, recognize this. You are already shifting by choosing awareness, even now. Each step you take toward unity, inside and out, matters more profoundly than you may ever know. Here's a question to keep close in the days ahead. What would it mean to live as if I am whole and capable of healing my world from the inside out? Let this guide you. And remember, the world awakens one wholehearted life at a time. Perhaps yours, right now. Thank you for walking together on this path. Wherever you go next, carry this quiet knowing. You are both the seeker and the source. May peace, clarity, and gentle courage brighten every step.